Okay, so now we have moved over to the famous Lake Wells and Lake Ruby. I'm not sure which is which, but we're going to start talking a little bit about them, and then we're going to talk a lot more about them in just a little bit. So while we're here at this stop, what I want you guys to think about, instead of thinking about water, is start thinking about electricity. And electricity is, of course, another resource that we need to be able to use in a sustainable manner so that our future generations have some to work with. Right now, approximately 70% of the electricity that we use is generated by burning coal. Coal is probably the worst fuel to use, to burn, because it pollutes the atmosphere so bad, it's horrible to breathe in. If anybody has seen these clips of Beijing recently where smog has just infiltrated the city, you'll know that it's an environmental disaster. It's such a bad thing to have. So the less we use, the more sustainable we are acting. And then as we move forward and finding new ways to generate electricity, that should be something we do from renewable resources rather than these non-renewable polluting resources. So what's something that we can do? Well, one thing that Georgia Southern has done to reduce the amount of electricity used is to develop a high albedo roof system. So an albedo refers to a material's reflective properties. That is, if you're wearing a white shirt outside, you're not going to absorb as much heat as one wearing a dark shirt, and you're going to absorb more heat. So the white shirt is going to have a higher albedo because it is reflecting the sun's energy. Now, if we glance up to the top of the library, what we see is that we have a fairly light colored roof, right? It's a metal roof, and it's sort of a light gray. If we look in the background, we see that we have an asphalt colored roof that is on the top of another building. And this is a typical roof that's been used for hundreds of years since shingles have been produced. Thanks, guys. So which one of these roofs is a more sustainable building practice, right? The more sustainable building practice is the light colored roof. In this environment, in this part of the world where we have a heated atmosphere, right, in the southern United States, where all we do is run the electricity in the summertime, my electricity bill at home is something like $350 every month. It's ridiculous. That's what's trying to be avoided here. A skateboarder. If we have a high albedo roof system, then we're going to be reflecting electricity, therefore be reflecting heat, therefore reducing the amount of electricity required to cool the building. If we have a dark roof system, then we're going to be absorbing all that heat. So in this type part of the world, it would make much more sense, not only from a sustainability standpoint, also from a financial standpoint, to have a light colored roof. Let's say that we lived in Alaska. What type of roof system would you prefer to have there? A dark or light roof?
That's a good question.
Should be obvious that you want a dark roof system in Alaska.